What's the deal? What's good? What's happening? This is Leo from Art Mart Biz, and this is our very first official podcast. Bum, bum, bum. And with this podcast, for now, we are calling it Out the Box with Creatives, baby. This podcast is for people that think out the box, dream out the box, build out the box, have aspirations to build out the box, or have built their empire out of the box. So, this is our first interview with the lovely Ashley.
Hey.
And just briefly, Ashley has been part of my team with Art Mart, putting together art shows and events that include concerts and all kinds of creative activity. We try to touch all aspects of creativity in Broward and West Palm Beach. And Ashley has hosted quite a few of the shows and been a big part of the process, along with the man behind the camera, Julian, Filmmaster 10. We see you over there, bro. We see you. And so, we're going to talk about artistic inspiration today. And Ashley, I'm curious to know the origin story of your artistic inspiration. As a young person, what was the first things that lit up in your life that inspired you to be a creative or artist?
I think the easiest way to answer that question is to say that I am a product of my environment.
Okay.
And my mom has always taken care to place me in creative environments, which included Montessori schools, helping out in like daycare plays, and then my favorite place ever was my summer camp, which I was able to curate my schedule according to my interests. So naturally I did everything. So yeah, that's where it started.
Wow. Just to touch on that for a second, what do you mean you were able to curate your experience in your camp? That's pretty advanced.
Okay, so up to a certain age, this camp was Miami-Dade Center, Cultural Arts Center. It was the best thing ever.
Awesome.
They had a certain program for each age group up until 11 years old. So when you're 11, you can focus on as many or as little as you wanted. And me, I was like, okay, so one dance class, one theater class, one art class, one sewing class, just one of everything. And so like I did all of them. And that has not stopped in my life. That pattern has continued in high school, where I was in a performing arts school.
Right.
And I majored in music. I played the flute. And my teachers were not happy when I was like, okay, so I'm going to take an art class next, or I'm going to help out with the lights and engineering for the shows. Like, I kind of got on their nerves because like I wasn't in the structure, but here I am now, still doing the same thing. So
I could advocate for that. I know that you're still doing the same thing, and I like that about you. Your company, what's your whimsy, kind of reflects that, because you're whimsical, but you are organized chaos, and I like that about you.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
I'll get somewhere.
So that was part of the origin story. So moving forward in time, and trying to look at a bigger picture, as far as all the things you've done creatively so far, what are you trying to communicate to the world through your creativity?
That's a hard question.
We're here for the hard-hitting questions, Ashley.
As of right now, I'm just I'm focused on communicating my most authentic truth. It's kind of easy to kind of get lost in the masses and stuff, and then sometimes we don't use our words to say what we need to say or mean to say. So right now I'm just using whichever medium speaks to me the best to express what I'm feeling. That's what I'm doing.
That's beautiful. I really like that. And just as a follow-up to that, and I'm going to push a little bit to get, the people I interview to express their authentic self. So how do you feel you've done so far with that mission?
As far as becoming a mirror for myself, it's really great. It's really cathartic. It's relieving to be able to shine a light on what's happening on the inside.
Wow.
Now,
Okay.
sharing it is the issue for me, but it's okay. It's a process. I know what's ever within will always come without eventually. So, yeah.
That's a beautiful answer. Okay, so that gives us some insight into who you are as a creative. Now, I'd like to ask a question about what is your process, and how would you explain your technique in any or all of your art forms?
I could say when it comes to painting, I have to enter a certain kind of flow. I usually just kind of like let that go. But sometimes it just comes out as colors and like movements. Like you can sense agitation in like the things I paint. And then you can tell when I'm also like really focused and like super left brain, because as you can tell I broke out a ruler for it and like, okay, this is a project and finishing in something that I'm actually seeing rather than what I'm feeling.
Right.
Because sometimes I kind of have to like ground myself and bring myself back to earth.
Right.
And then when it comes to dance, which is what I'm getting into now, that's also kind of like a feeling, and I'm just kind of like learning to trust my body right now, which is also really good exercise. So that's also a bonus for that. As for writing, I have a way of being really polite when I speak. So when I write, that's when I try to be like my most honest self sometimes. But then at the same time, if I can't say it, I don't write it. So I don't really know if that answered your question at all. It's just...
Well, the thing that I got most from that was that you are aware of your outside world and your inside world. And I think that's really important for a creative person.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
And yeah, I like that answer as well.
Yeah, I don't really kind of have a process. I just kind of go day by day. Lately, I have been focused on painting because I'm going to be live painting at the next art show. And I honestly still don't really know what I'm doing. But since my thing has been kind of following my whimsy, I'm just going to show up and see what speaks to me that day. I guess that's like mostly my process. It's like, what are my feelings today? Let's get it out.
Nice. So you're not going to bring your ruler. You're going to express what's inside of yourself on that day.
Yeah. If there's a ruler in the box, I'm not going to rule it out.
Zing! That's awesome. No, I like that, and that paints a pretty picture, and I'm looking forward to seeing that painting.
Me too.
Don't you love that? So you don't even know what you're going to do. So you're
no
saying,
clue.
I'm looking forward to seeing that too, because I don't even know what it's going to be.
No clue.
And a lot of artists overthink their art. So I really like the idea of just going into your dancing and trusting your body or trusting your instinct. That's big.
And then later on, when I'm like, I actually really do like this. I am talented at it. So like, how can I become more skilled? And then I'll look into getting more formal teaching and focus on techniques and stuff like that. But usually I'm following a feeling first, and then the rest comes out.
That's pretty profound. So, see, just as a side, I like to marinate in these ideas and really deep dive. So we're gonna have to talk to our film master 10 about doing a long form, but not to aside too much. Okay, so Ashley, what advice would you give to people just discovering their creativity?
Don't overthink it. Just do it. Pick something. Start somewhere. I know it's really vague, but honestly, What was the quote you just reminded me of? 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or something like that.
Yes.
And then I don't like when people say they're not good at anything. That is absolutely not true. Creativity can manifest in so many different ways.
That's so true. Would you like to add anything else for this interview? Anything that comes to mind? Maybe, okay, so anything that comes to mind, and also I'd love for you to self-promote whatever you want to promote about yourself or your brand.
I don't have anything extra to add.
Okay.
I'm Ashley, and thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Pleasure. Yay.